Another live stream for my stocks pick of the week. It's the 1st of June today. We're getting into the summer. FFIV is my stocks pick of the week. Now, I did previously mention this in a webinar and got into my first entry around about 269.57 here. We had full confluence with a roller coaster 5-star buy and 6 out of 6 there, and it came on the confluence scan for the stocks predator. The pickings are very short this week because if there's no confluence, we don't take any trades or investments. But this is it's got a lot of fresh air to this, and there's a lot happening on the weekly time frame. So I want to go through that on the weekly time frame first. But I'll go through the second entry soon. That's that second yellow line, and that with my average holding position right there. So first of all, let's go to the weekly. I want to let you understand where I see, and this software isn't available yet on Stocks Predator, but it will be in the VIP package towards the end of the year, which is Elliott Wave. So I've been using Elliott Wave for 30 years, coming up to 30 years. And I've used it mainly for swing trading. And when I see this pattern of a trend on a weekly time frame, I'm very interested in taking this fifth wave move up. So let's just talk about this pattern a little bit. So a little bit more technical analysis that's usually done on these stocks pick of the week. But I want to make you very aware of where I'm coming from here. So first of all, we can see this big weekly sort of support and resistance zone here. We're way above that right now. But in reality, this sort of area here, December 2022, April 2023, we get a slightly new low. And then from there, we've been in a bullish trend. We can measure that trend. So first of all, I've got a weekly channel on there. A lot of it is really to do with tests of the top and the bottom, but more importantly, how many tests we get of that center line, if you like. Okay, we just adjust that slightly because I was just messing with it there. Okay, so what you want to do is we want to see how it's behaved within that longer term channel from way back here, really from middle of 2023. So this first impulse move before we get a sort of profit taking pullback is what we call a wave one. So that's that first impulse move, start of the trend. We don't trade those. I'm only interested in that fifth wave move, but it helps me understand where we are on that trend behavior. Then we get a profit taking pullback on a wave two. And then we have the longest impulse move, which is a wave three, which is traditional. Okay, and then we do some measurements. I'm not going to go through those now. Our Elliott Wave software that's available for Thinkorswim, TradingView, NinjaTrader does that for you. But it looks at these pullback zones here, and we can see from wave three to wave four, we pull back in this red zone. That's good. We test the bottom of that channel, then we start to move up again. So I'm not trading this fifth wave. I just understand it's in a fifth wave, and I can use fib extensions to put this fifth wave target zone. It's quite fat, I know, but it's where that fifth wave should find resistance. Fifth wave always is higher than the third wave. It's not as strong, so it does usually run out of juice. And I would say in the middle of theirs, around about 340, that should be an initial target. But for me, this is a longer term trade. This could be on 3-4 months, maybe even turn into an investment if it breaks through that fifth wave target zone. Right now, I just understand there's a good opportunity to add some more to this position, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So when we're looking at technical analysis and we're looking at stocks, we need to look at a multiple time frame. We need to look at the story, the behavior that's going on, and on that weekly time frame, we can see this trend has behaved normally. Okay, even the wave four pullback, when we see here from wave three from this pivot here all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. Anything from 7 to 10 is a perfect profit taking wave four pullback. We can do some more measurements on there as well. We can look at a regression trend channel. We can go from 3 to 4. And there you can see we have what we call a Pearson's R. Just here, 0.908. So that's 90.18%. Anything over 90%, this wave 4 pullback has been an orderly profit taking. Okay, it took 8 weeks, but it's normal behavior. So we go back to the daily now. So obviously this first came off my radar when we had that full confluence with the green triangle. There's a roller coaster. Then the very next day we had a 5-star buy from our ex-Brad algo, and if you look down below vertically on those hash lines, all 6 time frames are green on the bias tech heat map. So that gave me full confluence on our confluence scanner. At the moment you can see the confluence scanner is only giving me 1 green, but we were already in this one. This is on my sort of live swing trades, if you like, and this is where we are right now. So I'll show you the scan results a little bit later for this weekend. Very light on the ground, but that's fine. So now we can see I got the entry really low here, around about 269.79, something like that. We've moved up, we've had moved down, we've got a little bit of a gap up, we've pulled down again, we've found some sort of short-term support here. Friday was good, closing near the highs. So what I'm looking for is an entry around 290.34, something like that. This will give me then an average holding position around about 280. That still gives me a lot of fresh air all the way up. And what I mean by fresh air is we've still got room to go to that wave 3 pivot, which is around $313. But more importantly, the 5th wave target zone starts at around about 322. I would expect, testers in there at 330, 335 would be the sort of move we'll get. Now, depending on the volume there, depends whether I take that position out. Obviously, I'm going to add to it now. If we do see good resistance in that 5th wave target zone, still a very profitable trade, and I take it out. So at this moment in time, it's still a swing trade, but it could turn into an investment if we get enough volume to push through this 5th wave target zone and break out of the channel. I've not got a crystal ball, I can't look right, but this is what we would say a possibility. 20% of those 5th wave target zones on an Elliott wave move are broken through, and so all we do is play the odds. We've got lots of fresh air up till there, and we're pretty early on in this move for me. Got that first one, I think it was on a webinar on the 15th of April or something like that, or the 20th or something. Anyway, I called that. I called it live. We're in now. We just got to get that move through that recent pivot high. Add some more. For me, I always add the same amount of shares. So if I have 10 shares this time, I'll add 10 more, and that'll be my average holding position there. And then we will update that every week. So again, FFIV is my stocks trade of the week, but I'm adding a second lot of shares to my position, because again, when you watch this video back, that trend behavior has been it's behaved very well for the last couple of years. Elliott Wave's been able to measure it very sensibly within that strong channel. The likelihood is it's going to go to 330, 340 in that 5th wave target zone. So that's the idea with that. I'm going to go back through a couple of previous trades that we're in at the moment. RCL is one of them. We are at this moment in time with RCL, we're doing very, very well. We've got that initial 270 target here. I know some of our users are trading this with options with a 270 strike price. So that's looking very strong right now. We did get that full confluence just going into this sort of daily resistance zone. So the idea was to get in above that, into that fresh air. We did pull back slightly, tested the entry, and it's pulled back again. Very good. Shack is very close to our target, I think. Let me just go have a look. Yes, so Shack is the same sort of thing here. Full confluence just before this big weekly resistance zone. So the entry getting in just before this is very sensible. Again, I know a lot of our users are playing options with this, with that strike price around $135. That could get there this week, actually, looking very, very good. DSGX, again, very good. Standard trade, this one for me, standard swing trade. We got all the confluence. We got in around this sort of price, 108.51. A little later, but again, we want to make sure we're closing gaps. We've got full confluence and we're ready to go. What's happened is now this, I'm not going to add any more to this. I'm trailing it, so I'm locking in profit here. So with this one, my target's around $122, $123. We're in profit right now. I'm locking in that profit. When we are swing trading and investing in stocks, we've only got a finite amount of money. We need to understand that we can't let everything run, because there will be new ones wanting to fill that funnel. Next week we may get some great opportunities with the expat stocks predator, the scanner. So I need to make sure that I understand that I'm reducing the risk. And also I've got a finite amount of money. And I don't trade options. I buy physical shares, or I trade contracts for difference, but I only trade contracts for difference going short. So right now, this looks reasonably strong. We're back to all 6 time frames green on the Friday there, with a good close near the highs. This looks very good, but I'm locking in profit. I've got to stop here. Be very wary. Just because that's the line on the chart, you need to understand what it's doing pre-market. You don't want it to gap down beyond your stop. Otherwise, you're not going to make as much profit, or indeed you could make a loss. So when you are swing trading these and you're looking to lock in profit, this is just a line on the chart. Only put that on when the markets have opened. Very, very important. Understanding what's going off pre-market is crucial. Let's go and have a look at another stocks pick of the week. FEIM, this was from last week. Okay. Remember, we were adding another second position to this. One thing I want to mention here is we've had a lot of volatility since then, since we got into that second position. Now, this is unusual because we had it announced it was going on the Russell 2000. Okay, so there was, and again, I'm using a function on the Stock Predator, which is a function for journaling. So in here with this journal, I put on why that's happened, and for me, it's not to panic. There was just some panic with people holding that stock to see, was it bad news, was it good news, what is going to happen. So that panic set in, and sometimes people close the positions, and that's what happens. But overall, longer term for this particular stock, that's a good thing, and I think it will recover. It's around about that second entry already. So for me, it's just a hold right now, and that's what I've done. And I do share that in our forum as well. So our Stocks Predators users join the forum with us, and I'll show you that forum right now. If I go to here, so let's bring that over to here. So it's on Discord, but it's a private forum for our Stocks Predator users. And we can see here there are lots of posts. So FEIM, I actually shared that. This was the original video for that first entry. Then there was the second entry. And then obviously I've told people what I'm going to do. DSXG is exactly the same sort of thing, sharing my journals. CCJ, one of our users trading options with this, got full confluence on this here, traded this and hit his target. So he took profit here. And his target on option strike prices around that sort of figure. So again, lots of users using this and sharing it. Again, Shack, there's quite a few people in Shack here. Captain Mel, I know, I'm sharing my thoughts on that. I'm in Shack as well. And then RCL, another one where we are a lot of things going off. Block ETF was one of my stocks picks of the week that blown through the first target and then hit the second one. That was pretty cool. So this was, again, I called this. These are the individual sort of things that I share with people. So, and then there's others in there for other stocks as well. So I just wanted to share that, that, you know, whenever you, and in the description for this is the link for the Stocks Predator. Stocks Predator is a very powerful tool, but you're not left alone. We've got a community building with this. I'm sharing it. I'm on there 3 or 4 times a week, if not more. RSI is another stocks pick of the week. I just don't look at one more. Again, this has been a very turbulent one. We got full confluence here. I put this order in at 12.64. Wasn't taken until recently, then bounced down and then it's come back up again. There's a lot of fresh air all the way up to $17 there. That's why that interested me. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go through that end of day scanner for Friday. And basically, I'm going to go and look for confluence. So on my filter here, I want 3 out of 3. There was only 3 stocks, or 1 ETF, 2 stocks, out of 4,892 scanned on Friday that had all 3 in confluence. And this is how powerful this is. I'm not saying any of those are any good right now. And sometimes we get 8, sometimes we get 10. But these 3 were in confluence for longs. We can do the same for shorts, for example. So if I put no filter on there, and I am going to go for 3 red. So these are all the potential shorts. Even got forex in there, by the way, guys. Okay, and crypto. So it's not just stocks. We, you know, Australian dollar CAD, for example, that looks like a really good long-term swing trade short right now, all the way down to these lows. So just going to show you there. But again, in my book, Confluence, Not Coincidence, I actually, in one of the chapters, talk about shorting to feed the investing pot. We shouldn't be afraid to short stocks, whether they're using options or contracts for difference. They are very good opportunities to actually trade for, you know, to actually build that investing pot. Because in reality, you're using a margin product to go short. And when it goes short and it goes down, you're making money. For me, that's free money. I use that then to invest. And again, in my book, I talk about that strategy. So let's just look at one of these. I'm not saying they're all great, but this one looks pretty good. ASO, Sports Academy Outdoors. We just make the chart a little bit bigger here. It's 3 out of 3. Let's just look on the weekly, see what this is doing overall. Struggling a little bit, actually, since February 2024. Major support here, actually it's not tested that. So one of the things we do, always go to the weekly. We probably go for putting the weekly zone in here around about there. So support and resistance is all about joining the dots. Okay, so I'm going to show you what dots I'm looking at. Okay, so we do push through here. We see this pivot point within that range. That's fine. We get a lot of clustering and support in here. Comes back up, tests it into this zone as well. But also we test with that rejection pivot there. So for me, that's where we are right now. I can see probably, you know, it's shallow, but we have quite a strong weekly channel. Okay, and this is the trend that we're in right now. So that gives me confidence when I'm going up to the weekly that, you know, there's a potential short on the tables here. Where is my target going to be for that short? Okay, so I'm going to put this target in here. So again, it's about confluence, where we see linear support and resistance meet non-linear support and resistance as a very strong area that we need to look at. So in reality, what we're looking for here is we've got full confluence. We have probably for those playing options or contracts for difference, we would like to see a break of $40. Okay, there's the $40 line. Okay, I'd like to see a break of that, and then I would look for a short with a strike price or target price of $34 in there. That's potentially a good use of the tool here to for a short. I just picked one of the ones on the confluence scanner for the short. Let's go back to that to the longs. I did see Coca-Cola in there. Let's have a look at Coca-Cola. Okay, done a bit of work on this already in prep because we've got to be careful here. Let's have a look on the weekly. Always go to the weekly. So the scans are done on the daily time frame. The daily time frame is the purest time frame for stocks trading and investing, purely because you get a session open, a session high, a session low, and a session close. You put those days together, you understand the trend, you understand the behavior. Always go to the weekly though to see where those major pivot points are, and the highs in this case, for those sort of resistance zones, if you like. So even though we've got full confluence on the daily, we need to be mindful that we have had rejections at this zone of price between 73.50 and 74.50. So there's a dollar zone of price there in which traders, mainly institutional traders, have taken profit. It's not to say it's going to happen a third time. I've not got a crystal ball, but it could happen. So to go in long before that is risky because we're too close. If we go back to the daily now, this is how close we are, but we have full confluence. We had full confluence here, okay? See the green triangle? That's a roller coaster. X-spread algo, and then all full confluence on there. It just didn't have enough juice to push through. It's going to try again, okay? This time, we've built up momentum with a 4 and a 5-star buy. We've got the green triangle there. We're all 6 time frames. But for me, I'm going to put this on my watch list because I'd like to see how it reacts there. If it breaks through into this fresh air, I'd wait for a test of support and then I'll go long. Okay, so all this scanner does in this situation is brought to attention Coca-Cola. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on there. I'm going to add Coca-Cola to my main watch list. Okay, so that's now on my main watch list. Just going to take off the filters and I'm going to go to a main watch list and you'll see Coca-Cola is there. So all I'll do, remember, on the daily time frame, we wait for a day to open, high, low, close. Then at the end of every day, I can just have a look and see how Coca-Cola is doing. DSP is another trade that we're in as with a community. No, DSP 1702 is the entry. When we breach this daily zone, it's not gone through that. You see how that bias is there. That's why it's on my main watch list, not on the live trades. CCJ is a trade that the community is in that I just missed. But again, that was a great trade here. And that's one that you saw on there, Captain Mel, one of our users on there, played an options trade and it hit the target very, very well. So these zones that we put on, if I repeat how to do them every week, go to the weekly, join the dots, that's support and resistance. There's nothing technical about that. And I know today was a little bit different with a little bit more value wave in there. But I think sometimes it's good to introduce those concepts with these things because we need to make sure. I need to add, actually, let's go back to live swing trades. And I need to add that now to stocks pick of the week. Just bear with me a second. So FFIV, I'm adding that to the stocks pick of the week as well. So I think it's important to actually introduce these concepts because understanding this trend is very important. Stocks follow rules within a trend in reality. Okay, we can measure that behavior with a set of very strict rules, and it's met those rules. So now we're confident that, you know, it may take to the end of the year to get there because this is a weekly time frame, but we're pretty confident. We can't, there's no guarantees in trading and investing, but you know, the rules have been met. There's good possibility this is going to go. I'm already in this trade, swing trade down here. It's still in profit. I'm looking to add to this. Why? Some people say, well, why not? Why don't you add now? Because I need to make sure that it gets through my start line. I'm a start line trader. So I need to, when things happen, I need to set a target for it to go through. So I'm confident that it's going to continue to go through. So yes, I could get in a little bit earlier here and reduce that average holding position. Profit's profit. It's not about arguing about buying at the lows. It's about making sure you're going through the start lines. Very important for me is that we break this pivot. This pivot was short profit taking. Yes, there was a bit of Trump news in there. We got a bit of a gap down. It recovered, went up and down. Thursday, Friday was pretty tough in the markets anyway, but it recovered very well Friday. So for me, I want to make sure there is no repeat of that behavior. So get through there, get the average holding position, and that's what we're looking for. So FFIV is my stocks pick of the week. Whether you're watching the live or actually going to be watching the recording, check out the links below for the stocks predator. Very, very powerful tool, this. And there's lots more filters on there. When I go to my end of day scanner, I can go on my beta. So if I can go beta over 1.5, that's actually performing better than the markets right now. I can put my confluence scanner on, say, 2 green, some that are really ready. So there's 45 stocks that have a beta greater than 1.5. We have 2 green. So imagine those Formula One starting lights. There's 2 and there's 1 more to go. We've got lots of other things. Earning dates, very important. We don't want to be getting in a swing trade sort of 20 days before or even 10 days before there. We can also look at countries as well, because we don't just scan for US stocks. We do scan for stocks. So for example, this is a German stock, 8tra.de. This is on the German Stock Exchange. You know, we can look at those. If we trade the German Stock Exchange, there's actually a lot of fresh air up to 38 there, and an entry around 32. That's a good looking trade. We just need that final confirmation, and that's what we have to wait for. We can add it to our watch list. So hopefully that helps people understand that do these every Sunday, stocks pick of the week, using the stocks predator unless I'm traveling. This week we are going back to stocks pick of the week. Where are we? There we go. FFEIM was last week, and remember we added more to that. FFIV is this week, and we want that entry around about sort of 290, 65, 290, 50, that sort of thing. Just breaching that previous pivot is very, very important. Okay, so that's it for me Sunday. Have a great trading week ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have got nearly 800 videos on there using lots of different technology, trading indicators, automated strategies, that sort of thing for lots of platforms. Thinkorswim, NinjaTrader, TradingView, TradeStation, MotiveWave, MT4, lots of software, lots of educational videos on there. So have a great trading week ahead. And